Hey folks, I've been thinking lately that it's possible that we sometimes overcomplicate life by worrying about whether our behavior makes us good or bad people. I say this because anyone who's done even just a little self reflection about human nature will have to accept that within each of us, myself included, is the capacity for both great good and terrible evil. So when we ask, am I a good person? What we're really asking, usually that is, am I a good person in the eyes of others? And to be frank, except for the people who really matter in your life, which for most of us is a very small number, to chase the admiration and respect of strangers or the world at large is pointless and futile. So I think that there's another reason to be good or to move through life doing as much good as you can that has nothing to do with the subjective sense of self-righteousness that people are sometimes overly concerned with. The reason to avoid undue cruelty to others is that every time you make someone feel bad, or you belittle them, or you tear down what makes them feel special, what you're doing is you're taking away their motivation to achieve their positive potential. And when you do that, and it happens enough times over the spread of an entire society, what that leads to is chaos. Because if you take away people's motivation to do the right thing, we will end up doing the wrong thing. And when a society is built on people who are only ever looking after their own self-interest, that leads to chaos, much like the society in which I live now. Because you see, the problem with South Africa isn't simply the politicians in power. Yes, they are a big problem, and they certainly don't help the situation, but the problem with South Africa runs deeper than that, because this is fundamentally a culture where people look out for themselves to the detriment of others. When the riots occurred here 2 years ago, it wasn't politicians out looting and burning buildings. It was my neighbors, people who live in the same community as I do. And that is because in a very real way, they've obviously lost any sense of the difference between constructive and destructive behavior. Because what the riots showed was that the people engaged in them were only concerned about immediate gratification, most of which didn't even work out for them because there were massive raids following the riots in which most of what was stolen was reclaimed from the people who stole it. So that, in real terms, is a reason why you shouldn't go around doing objectively destructive and negative things. It's got nothing to do with whether or not you are a good person. It's just that behaviors which are generally thought of as good are thought of as good because they have been shown to lead to the most positive and constructive outcomes, whereas negative behaviors, or those generally considered to be negative, are thought of as such because they destroy society. I hope that in this philosophical ramble you find something useful, and for now, farewell.